If you fall in line like everybody else, you are no better than anybody else. You are complicit. These people are traitors who must be opposed, voted out, removed from office, tried and convicted and imprisoned for war crimes and treason. Let me ask you, what prevents a sleeper cell from dressing up as ICE agents, wearing masks, and making people disappear? Just like the obvious Proud Boys our government has hired and put into ICE uniforms and covered up with masks as they make people disappear all around the country. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Most of the content on my channel is supported by generous patrons, but made available for free to the entire world. If you support that, please consider adding your support at patreon.com/atheistdebates. This clip, however, is from one of the many programs that I do on YouTube on The Line. And if you liked it, feel free to visit, like, subscribe, and watch The Line Network live. Thank you. Hey everybody, it's Matt. Welcome back. I'm back from vacation. A huge thank you to Jimmy and Alyssa for hosting in my absence. We started like exactly on time, and so people are still filtering in. So hi, for those of you just tuning in now, you're probably getting past a commercial or whatever else. Yes, I am continuing to maintain Zen mode. So if you've been terrified of getting yelled at or cursed out because you've got the dumbest idea for a god or a political position ever, you're fine. We're sitting here waiting for your calls. If you want to call in to defend your God belief, if you think John and I have missed something, if you think that this is something you can demonstrate, or the same thing with political positions, primarily if you think we're wrong, get your calls in right now. I see calls already starting to line up, so that's good. We are also going to be prioritizing real phone calls over web calls a bit. I understand a lot of you are going to need to use the web call system, but this is going to be like a lot of other Wednesday nights with a couple of exceptions. First, I want to start with something kind of like good news. And this is incredibly weird to say, but a Muslim has just won the Democratic primary for New York City mayor. And I say that's a good thing, not because I have any interest in Muslims being in positions of power. I definitely don't. But because he beat out Cuomo. Now, for those who don't know, Cuomo's a guy who seemingly has almost as many sexual assault allegations as Trump. And yet, not only was this not a deal breaker for the Democratic Party, but they continue to promote him and push his stuff and continue to slag anybody else that comes along. And then when they found out that he was going to lose, their talking heads went out to try to spin, because they completely misunderstand what's actually happening. And in this case, I think it's as simple as socialism is more popular than sexual predators. Next. Who knew? Who could have imagined that people were starting to get exhausted of the same old status quo? Oh, I did something wrong, but please forgive me. I know what I'm doing. Put me in charge. I will always vote for the best candidate available. The perfect is the enemy of the good. We all know that. If you hold your breath for perfection, nothing good is going to come of that. Democrat or otherwise, I don't care if they're Republican, Green, Libertarian, Independent, no party, tailgate party. I don't care. If they are the best candidate for the position that has a viable chance at actually getting elected, that's who I'm going to vote for. But the party leadership, from the Democratic Party in particular, because it has great power, and along with that comes, oh, what's that saying? Yes, great responsibility. They need to be held responsible for their inaction and their complicity, both with Cuomo and with the current Trump administration. The Democratic Party is tanking what should be the easiest and most obvious retaking of government control in the history of our country. I'm not optimistic. I'm not hopeful. I'm just staying as optimistic and as hopeful as I can, all things considered. So, best of luck to Zoran Mamdani. I fucking hate your religion, but I like a lot of your policies, sir. And I'm optimistic that you might turn out to be a man of your word, actually working to make some change. And if I were in New York, I would be voting for you in the general election coming up. Because the only other option seems to be fascism and abandonment of law, and abandonment of truth, and sticking with the status quo that doesn't oppose it. Revolution is coming, at home and abroad. In other news, while I was gone, in a predictable violation of the War Powers Act of 1973, which the Republicans dismiss as irrelevant because they claim it's unconstitutional, though there's no reason to think that. Oh, yes, there is, because they own the Supreme Court. And if it gets challenged, the Supreme Court is likely to say that the War Powers Act is unconstitutional, because of course they fucking will. The administration, following the overreaching lead of previous administrations, Republican and Democrat, have now bombed Iran. Now, let me say this at the outset. I'm an 8.5-year veteran of the United States Navy. I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Provide Comfort, and a number of other operations as well. I've been to the Middle East. I am not remotely a policy expert, a foreign relations expert. I'm not an expert on international law. I'm not an expert on the treaties that we have. None of that. And my experience during Desert Shield, Desert Storm does not impact what's actually happening now at all. But I'm not just some rando. This is chaos that is caused by incompetence. My position is, just like almost everybody else's, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I don't think anybody disagrees with that apart from the Ayatollah and his flunkies. So let's not pretend that people objecting to this are just okay with Iran getting a nuclear weapon. The issue here is, how do you go about preventing that? And when you have incompetence filling your government, chaos is what happens. Trump tore up a nuclear deal that wasn't perfect, but was working. Trump also got played by Bibi Netanyahu into showing that he's a tough guy, because the United States is the only one that has the weapons that could actually do what we did. He ignored and dismissed his own director of national intelligence, who, by the way, predicted this. Kamala Harris also predicted this, but I don't want to even count that, because everybody's saying, oh, if you elect them, we're going to war. Oh, if you elect them, we're going to war. By the way, I know we're not in war. War hasn't been declared. I'm talking about the military action that almost certainly violates the War Powers Act. His director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, in 2019 tweeted this, quote, Trump says he doesn't want war with Iran, but that's exactly what he wants, because that's exactly what Saudi Arabia, Netanyahu, Al-Qaeda, Bolton, Haley, and all the other neocons and neolibs wants. It's what he put first, not America. And yet, despite saying this in 2019, she's working for him. She was saying that they did not have the capabilities that he claimed that they did. He said she's wrong on television. Then she turns around and changes her statement. Did the director of national intelligence just not have good enough intelligence? Or did she fall in fucking line like all the rest of them? These people know the delusional idiot that they're working for, the dangerous, corrupt regime that they are working alongside, and they are completely complicit. They know exactly the monster they're working for, and they keep working for him. I'm sure somewhere in the back of their heads, it's better that I'm here just in case it gets too bad, rather than have someone who's truly a sycophant genuflecting to the new king. I'm supremely confident that that's what's going through so many of their heads. You're wrong. It's only better to have you there if you're actually going to do something. If you fall in line like everybody else, You are no better than anybody else. You are complicit. These people are traitors who must be opposed, voted out, removed from office, tried and convicted and imprisoned for war crimes and treason. So we bombed Iran. Trump then goes and claims that we obliterated their abilities. Turns out, today we're hearing that's not the case. We might have slowed them down 3 to 6 months. Because it seems that we didn't quite do the damage we thought we'd do. So now not only did we show what our bombers are capable of traveling from Missouri to Iran, as we're the only one with these particular weapons, showing exactly what their capabilities are to enemies, and showing that they're not up to speed. They're not up to snuff. They're not capable of doing the job. And if they had been, all they do then is dig the bunkers deeper. Oh, wait, these weapons are only effective this many feet underground? We'll just dig deeper. So it turns out it didn't really accomplish what he said it accomplished. Then he claims there's a ceasefire, which evidently both sides immediately violated. And he's tossing out instructions to Israel on Truth Social. Turn your planes around. Do you not have a fucking phone? Of course you have a phone. You know why he's doing this? It's not for Israel. It's for his base. It is 100% performative. It is, oh, let me show them I'm doing stuff, and I'm going to stand up and yell at Israel, and Israel's going to do what I say. It is absolute grandstanding bullshit. Don't raise gas prices. I'm sorry. When gas prices were a problem before, by the way, groceries at a record high as well. The war in Ukraine hasn't ended. The annihilation in Gaza hasn't ended. None of these things have been fixed. But when gas prices were a problem before, it was, well, it's the president's fault. Always the president's fault. You took actions that caused Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil has to travel through. And then you think going on Truth Social saying, don't you dare raise gas prices. Everybody stop, don't do it. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Trump. I was just getting ready to raise gas prices. But since you came at me on Truth Social, I just won't. Idiots. Claimed there was a ceasefire, then said we can call it the 12-day war. Ooh. I think we're beyond 12 days now. He hasn't ended that or anything else. Peace in the Middle East isn't something that an idiot celebrity working with an alcoholic Fox News anchor and a bunch of fucking sheep can actually achieve. Who knew? Meanwhile, the person keeping us safe from terrorist retaliation is a 20-something with zero experience whose previous job was a grocery store clerk. Incompetence and not being qualified for your position is a fucking virtue in the Trump administration. Let's keep grabbing celebrities off Fox News and putting them in positions where they have access to all the power and all the secrets and all of everything. How do we keep Americans safe in an environment like that? Is this what you guys voted for? You MAGA president of peace Trump voters? The guy who called in a few weeks ago to lecture me about how Trump's the president of peace? Still think so? Call me back. Is this what you guys voted for? How do those liberal tears taste? Seem to be your primary focus. Oh, I can't wait to taste those liberal tears. Let me ask you, do those liberal tears taste as good as the tears of Iris Diana Monterosa Lemus? Oh, who's that? This is a pregnant woman in Tennessee who had lived here for ages, who was picked up and detained by ICE while she was pregnant, kept explaining to the ICE agents that she was having stomach pain, abdominal pain, that something was wrong, and that she needed medical treatment, even begged to be immediately deported to Guatemala so that she could get the prenatal treatment that she needed. She sat there for 3 days with a dead fetus in her as she ate food off the ground in that facility. In the United States, in Tennessee, under this administration, until she miscarried in chains in front of the ICE agents. Are those the fucking liberal tears you guys wanted? Now we have to worry about retaliation at home. Not from ICBMs. We haven't pissed those people off yet. But we can, since Russia's in bed with Iran. But we have to protect ourselves from terrorist attacks that the grocery store clerk fails to protect us from. And we do this in a country where the rule of law has been thrown out, where due process has been thrown out, where the president has been crowned king and will take over the National Guard. They know people, they know citizens of this country are going to start by protesting, because we already have. And they know that that's going to ramp up to a rebellion, because the protesting isn't having enough of an effect to impact a significant change. And so they're setting the precedent to implement martial law. Let me ask you, what prevents a sleeper cell from dressing up as ICE agents, wearing masks, and making people disappear? Just like the obvious Proud Boys our government has hired and put into ICE uniforms and covered up with masks as they make people disappear all around the country. When you don't have to identify yourself, when you throw out due process and the rule of law, the guys with guns in a uniform, I don't have any way to verify that their badge is real. I don't have any way to verify whether they're working for the government officially or not. There's nothing to prevent the ill-intentioned from masking up and entering facilities and planting their explosives in retaliation. What prevents anyone from doing anything when the law has been thrown out? When the best intelligence is ignored in favor of, as J.D. Vance said, their gut instincts. These people must be held accountable. I'm not calling for violence, but those discussions are happening all the time. I hear them. Ooh, when is violence warranted? I get asked all the time, when is violence warranted? How long do we wait? When is it too late? Is it too late now? How do you justify a revolution? How do you justify physical violence? I'm not there yet, but other people are. Because they're realizing that policy talk and rhetoric and idealistic pearl clutching and making promises that we all know you're not going to keep cannot accomplish this. The other side doesn't give a shit if they keep the promises. They know they elected a liar. As I said before, this entire administration and everyone complicit knows that this is corrupt, knows that this is wrong, knows that this is in violation of the Constitution, knows that this is in violation of international war crimes laws, in many cases, with what they're doing, and they are complicit. They must be voted out, impeached, removed from office, tried, and imprisoned for war crimes and treason. So, John, how was your week?
Yeah, my week was all right. I mean, the whole progression of this quote unquote 12-day war has been pretty funny because you had there's I can't remember the dipshit's name. He's a congressman, but he apparently suggested Trump or nominated Trump for a peace prize, the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah,
and then it got taken back today. So that was pretty funny, in my opinion. And he really wants that peace prize too, because Obama got one.
Oh yeah. He made a tweet or a truth or whatever the fuck. I'm just going to always call them tweets. that was like, I won't get the Nobel Peace Prize even though I did this. I won't get the Nobel Peace Prize even though I did this. I won't get the Nobel Peace. Like, it was this big long, mommy, please give me the Nobel Peace Prize. Please. So of course he does something, and literally, I told you, I predicted it. I was wrong. I didn't predict it that morning. I predicted the night before, because when we got done with Rat Day, Arden and I were standing in the shower when we saw the news of a ceasefire, and I looked at her and I said, someone will nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize over this. And she just looked at me and rolled her eyes. And the fucking next day, of course, it happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, I mean that not luckily, but that supposed peace treaty or whatnot only lasted like 2 hours, right? So, I mean, they jumped the gun just a little bit there. Maybe wait until like the actual peace comes before you start saying, "Oh, Trump is great."
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you saw this, but Trump posted a parody song that's it parodies that Bob Baram song from like the 60s.
Oh, is it
But
Bomb Iran? Because that's old. Yeah.
Yeah. But he posted that on his True Social along with a bunch of bombers that were just dropping bombs, and it made it seem like they were dropping bombs on Iran. But the thing that really got me was the fact that at the very end of the song, it talks about turning Iran into a parking lot, and it's like, isn't that calling for a genocide? Like, is the president of the United States posting something that's positively like talking about like committing a genocide on the Iranian people who like from what I've heard, most don't support like what the government's doing or whatever in this particular respect. I guess I shouldn't say most. I've heard that some non-zero amount of people are definitely not in favor of it. So I mean, it seems rather crazy to me for like a president to like post that song on any kind of social media.
Yeah, it's wild. Cursed. If you enjoyed on the line right here on YouTube. Fuck. Hi, if you enjoyed that content, you can watch this program and a number of others on the Line Network right here on YouTube. Link below. I don't have anything else. Fuck it.